Everybody, Piscean here. In this video, I'm going to bring to you my magnum opus on basic wealth, exalted wealth, and what do we see with astrology. I've been unemployed since December 2024. I've had unsustained temporary jobs. Well, what's going on? Well, please subscribe, like, comment, share if you dare and care, and let's get started. So, first of all, your basic wealth is a stable accumulation of resources sufficient to liberate the native from survival fear. It corresponds to the lunar realm, being the second house, the moon. Venus and her earthly dignity, the secure flow of income, emergency reserves, and the feeling of enoughness. Basic wealth is a fixed earth trine made manifest, so slow, reliable, and tangible. Well, exalted wealth is plutocratic and Jupiterian. Transcends need and enters the domain of legacy, power, generational transmission, and the ability to move markets. It is the 8th house, the part of fortune elevated, fixed star Spica conjunct the midheaven. Exalted wealth receives from the invisible realms and becomes a conduit, not a container. It is the solar principle radiating gold, not merely counting it. Before I go further, I'm gonna have to make sure I didn't already make this video. Hold up. Where am I from? I'm from St. Paul, Minnesota. I'm on live stream, by the way. I'm not talking to myself. I think I might have already... Hold on one second, guys.
What is up, everybody? Pisces.
Actually, no, I didn't. That was a whole different thing. Alright. So, the magnum opus here marries lunar security to solar radiance. It is the structured time co-creation with the cosmic economy. Alright. What we see here is a natal architecture of wealth. Before any transit or progression can deliver abundance, the natal chart must be read as a personal balance sheet and income statement. So the following layers must be dissected with surgical precision. First, we need to know our 4 pillars of monetary embodiment. We look at the pillar house, primary planet, and its function. So liquid receiving is the second house. It's Venus and the moon. Earned income is cash flow, values that attract money. Opaque receiving is the 8th house, Pluto, Mars, other people's money, debt, inheritance, venture capital, the alchemical, multiplication. Fruits of action, alright, the 11th house, Jupiter, Uranus, large-scale gains, it's network wealth, dividends from past good karma, and market rewards. In the treasury, it's a lot of fortune, the physical incarnation of prosperity, the point where material luck coalesces, and the diagnostic rule here is a strong second house without an activated 8th house yields comfortable employees. A powerful 8th house with an afflicted second house yields high-risk speculators who crash. Alright? Both must be integrated. Dignities of the wealth significators. Let's check all the essential and accidental dignities of the ruler of the second house, the ruler of the 8th house, the ruler of the 11th house, the dispositor of the lot of fortune, as well as Jupiter and Venus. For basic wealth, the second ruler in an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, in an angular or succedent house aspecting Saturn harmoniously, promises steady accumulation. The moon in exaltation, Taurus, or in a night chart with a strong Venus, gives an instinctive capacity to attract necessities. For exalted wealth, Jupiter in domicile, Sag, Pisces, or exaltation, Cancer in the 8th house, 11th house, or conjunct the lot of fortune. Pluto in a money house trining a benefic. The sun in the 8th house, especially in Leo, or Aries, burns away scarcity and becomes a vortex of other people's resources. In the fixed stars, Spica, 23 degrees Libra on the ascendant, midheaven, or the lot of fortune. Regulus, 29 degrees Leo on the 2nd or the 8th cusp. Sirius, 14 degrees Cancer conjunct Jupiter. We look at the Venus-Jupiter-Saturn triangle, and we see that this triad is the fiscal policy of the soul. Venus is currency itself, liquidity, desire, and attraction. Jupiter is expansion, inflation, bull markets, abundance mentality. Saturn is structure, bear markets, saving, long-term compounding. So a natal trine between these 3 planets is a signature of the natural millionaire archetype. A hard aspect, square opposition between Jupiter and Saturn signals boom-bust cycles that must be consciously mastered. The native can become a brilliant market timer if they're disciplined. Venus square Saturn indicates wealth through delayed gratification, real estate, or mature industries. The Hellenistic timing gates when the magnum opus opens. Possession of a fertile natal map means nothing if one sows in winter. The following timing techniques form the operational core of the magnum opus, and they must be layered precisely. Zodiacal releasing from the lot of fortune. This is the Emperor's Key. Zodiacal releasing divides the life into chapters ruled by the signs of the lots, showing when the native is on peak for material manifestation. Level 1, Decades. When the releasing hits a sign where the lot of fortune's ruler is dignified, domicile, exaltation, or bound lord, a major wealth window opens. Level 2, Years. A benefic rule period, Venus-Jupiter, within a positive level 1 creates the green light. And level 3, Months, Days. Transits triggering the active releasing sign, especially Jupiter or Venus, crossing the releasing lot. Pinpoint the exact moment to launch businesses, buy assets, or receive massive inflows. Peak 1 activation for Exalted Wealth, a level 1 period in a sign ruled by a planet sitting in the 8th or 11th house, especially if that planet also aspects the part of fortune natively. During such a period, the native can command capital, attract investors, and receive unearned abundance. Alright? Annual Profections and the Lord of the Year. On every birthday, a house is activated, and its planetary ruler becomes the Lord of the Year, governing the entire solar cycle. Second house Profection Year. The universe directly targets earned income, pay rises, new job offers, holy shit, and asset accumulation are available. So if the Lord of the Year, say Mercury, transits into a money sign, the quarter unlocks. 8th house Profection Year. The year of the magnum opus for Exalted Wealth can bring loans, inheritances, tax returns, or investment windfalls. The condition of the 8th ruler in the natal chart and by transit will determine if it manifests as $1 million funding round or a debt trap. 11th house Profection Year. Large gains from networks, stock awards, sudden success, especially potent if the 11th ruler is Jupiter or Venus. During a Profection Year, targeting a money house, every transit of the Lord of the Year across an angle or benefic planet becomes a transactional trigger. Buy, sell, ask, launch. Solar returns as annual budgets. The solar return chart must always be cast for the native's current location. This is a vital financial strategy. Relocating for birthday can shift the entire fiscal narrative of that year. Indicators of a wealth solar return. Jupiter or Venus on the solar return ascendant, midheaven, or in the SR 2nd, 8th houses. The SR part of fortune tightly conjunct a natal planet. A grand trine in earth signs in the SR chart. The moon applying to a conjunction with Jupiter in the SR 2nd or 11th house. Eclipses in the SR 2nd, 8th axes decompress time and deliver fated financial shifts within that year. Market alchemy, planetary cycles as macroeconomic timers. The global economy breathes through planetary cycles. The magnum opus requires macro alignment. Individual timing must harmonize with the collective tide. The Jupiter-Saturn synodic cycles, 20 years. This conjunction, the great chronocrater, defines the economic regime. Earth trine periods, for example, conjunctions in Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, favor tangible assets, real estate, commodities, value investing. Basic wealth is built through hard assets. Air trine periods. Conjunctions in Aquarius, Gemini, Libra favor technology, intellectual property, network-based wealth, crypto, social capital, exalted wealth through scale and information advantage. A magnum opus investor shifts their core portfolio allocation based on the elemental phase of the current 20-year cycle. The Venus start point and liquidity cycles. So Venus's 19-month synodic cycle with the Sun, the Venus start point, governs liquidity, currency flows, and consumer confidence. So Venus start point and morning star phase is retrograde to superior conjunction. Inflated values, speculative fervor, good for risk on assets, and launching luxury brands. Exalted wealth moments can appear at a superior conjunction. Evening star phase, direct after sunset, contraction, value reassessment, good for acquisitions at a discount, building basic security. Trading against Venus retrograde without understanding its phase is to sail against the tide. Mercury retrograde and the transactional infrastructure. Mercury rules contracts, trades, and short-term settlements. During retrograde periods, especially in earth signs, financial paperwork errors multiply. Market data is revised and algorithms misprice. Magnum opus practitioner uses these periods exclusively for research, auditing, and recalibration, never for signing major deals or locking long-term positions. The post-retrograde shadow is a true launch window. Eclipses on the 2nd, 8th axes. A solar or lunar eclipse falling within 3 degrees of a natal money planet, the lot of fortune, or the 2nd house. The 2nd, 8th house cusp triggers a fated financial event. Can manifest as a sudden windfall if the eclipse is conjunct Jupiter-Venus, or a compulsory reset if conjunct Saturn-Pluto. Eclipse-driven wealth is always karmic. The native must receive with neutrality, neither clinging nor rejecting. The astro-economic portfolio construction. A celestial portfolio does not merely diversify by asset class, it diversifies by planetary signature. Okay? The allocation is a living Mandela. We look at our planetary allocation, our asset class, and purpose in the magnum opus. So for example, Moon is cash, T-bills, emergency fund, basic security, liquid cushion, anti-fragility. Venus is dividend stocks, art, luxury goods, beauty sector, steady income, aesthetic pleasure, value appreciation. Mercury is short-term trades, high-frequency strategies, information arbitrage, agile opportunistic gains. Mars is venture capital, startups, options, aggressive growth, exalted returns, high burn, requires natal Mars dignity. Jupiter is your index funds, sovereign bonds, blue chip growth, international equities, long-term expansive wealth, compounding. Saturn is real estate, infrastructure, metals, insurance, the bedrock, intergenerational wealth preservation. Uranus is crypto, tech disruption, futuristic industry, sudden leaps, requires strong natal Uranus placement. Neptune is film, music, oil, spiritual assets, dissolution of boundary between basic and exalted, risk of illusion must be anchored by Saturn. Pluto is private equity, distressed assets, debt markets, controlling stakes, absolute power, rebirth of capital, only for those with strong natal Pluto 8th house. The optimal weight is determined by the natal dignity of each planet. A native with a debilitated Mars should avoid leverage options, irrespective of transits. The magnum opus respects natal capacity, it amplifies strength, never forces weakness. Ritual alchemy of receiving. Astrology shows the architecture and timing. Ritual aligns the psyche to receive without sabotage. Basic and exalted wealth differ in their receiving postures. So for basic wealth, I'd say the lunar ritual. On the day the moon transits the natal second house or a Taurus moon, write a realistic budget, physically touch your savings, feel the security, and perform an offering of grains or coins to the earth. The mantra is, I am rooted, I am provided for, the flow sustains me. For exalted wealth, the solar ritual. On the day the sun conjoins the natal part of fortune or the natal Jupiter, at the exact hour of the sun, the planetary hour, visualize gold light streaming from the zenith into the crown and out through the hands. See yourself as a clear channel for vast sums entering to be distributed for the earth, for your lineage, for works of beauty. Burn a gold candle inscribed with the glyphs of Jupiter and the part of fortune. The mantra is, I am the steward, not the owner. Through me, abundance circulates for the healing of the world. The greatest secret, exalted wealth cannot be kept, it must move. The moment the native tries to hoard it, it collapses into Saturnine heaviness and is lost. This is a spiritual law mirrored by the 8th house, death and rebirth of capital. Magnum opus is not completed in one transit, it is a lifetime alignment with the celestial economy. Those who master both octaves, the lunar security of the second house and the solar radiance of the 8th, become pillars of the world, capable of funding hospitals, endowing libraries, and leaving a legacy that outlasts Saturn's longest cycle. Look to your lot of fortune, time is releasing, honor the Lord of the year. Construct your portfolio as a star mandala. When the great benefic stations on your spica receive, the vault of heaven is, and always has been, the only infinite treasury. Alright, now I want to go over the celestial portfolio, a comprehensive guide to stocks and traditional investing through the lens of astrology. From beginner stargazing to advanced astro investing mastery. And I hope to see you there with peace and love. Piscean out.